The Philadelphia Eagles may be top 5 in the NFL this season, but will certainly be better than it was last year. The big acquisition, or at least one of the big coordinator changes in the NFL this offseason, was the Philadelphia Eagles bringing in Kellen Moore. They as well brought in, of course, Saquon Barkley, and there was a lot of speculation, will this fix the Eagles offense that was pretty much completely broken at the end of last year? And honestly, after 1 week, I'm almost willing to say the answer is yes. The Philadelphia Eagles offense looked exceptional, especially if you start comparing it to the rest of the league in week 1. If you assume that a lot of teams are going to get better, including the Philadelphia Eagles are going to improve what they have offensively, the NFL should be a bit worried. But let's dive into some of the numbers. Now, obviously, we could start with some of the more basic numbers just in terms of total offensive yards. The Philadelphia Eagles were, of course, number 4 in the NFL. But, it's week 1. Some of the games were higher scoring. Of course, Philly and Green Bay was played in Brazil, a little bit warmer. The ball may have been, whatever you want to call it, right? But let's dive a little deeper into these yards. Philadelphia is one of 3 teams, to rank top 10 in both passing and rushing yards. The other 2 teams are the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. I think we could agree that all 3 of those teams are probably going to be elite top 10 offenses, by the end of the season. But let's go even further. As was pretty much expected with the new Kellen Moore offense, the Philadelphia Eagles ran a ton of plays. They are tied for second in the NFL with 74 total plays ran. And would you look at their, teams around them, Houston, the Rams, the Ravens, the Niners, good offensive teams up here at the top. You do have some Cleveland, Denver, the Giants, mainly because, they were on the field at the end of the games trying to mount comebacks. Granted, again, it's week 1, but you look at the tippy top here. Those are your elite teams and your elite offenses running a lot of plays, keeping drives going, staying on the football field, having good successful plays. Philadelphia was not a part of that group last year. This year, they are. And we could use next gen stats to take a look at Jalen Hurts' passing chart. You could see that a lot of action was over here on the left side of the field. Probably, that speaks to Jair Alexander being over here on the right side of the field. But I will say this, you could see that it's a little diverse. There's a lot of things over here. The middle of the field, I would say in, these markers generally area was used. You have the long touchdown passes on the deep balls. So, a couple deep shots and didn't go so well. But when you look at Jalen Hurts' passing chart, a lot of quick stuff at the line of scrimmage. I kind of told you guys about that this offseason, that Kellen Moore was going to use wide receiver and apparently tight end screens as another version of the run game, just a quick way to pick up a couple of yards early on. He used that with Dallas Goedert a couple times. I really stand on the fact that it should be Devonta Smith catching some of these screen passes and having an A.J. Brown and a Dallas Goedert out there blocking, or a Johnny Wilson. They had a couple plays where Devonta Smith was the blocking wide receiver, and I thought, that's interesting. Probably not the guy on the team that I would pick. Could love to see Jahan Dotson get involved on some of these screenplays, some screenplays to Saquon Barkley. But overall, the point being, the passing chart doesn't really reflect a way too spread offense in week 1, but we got to take a look at everything. I do think that just has to do mainly with Jair Alexander, though, being one of the better corners in the game of football. And I know that this is a little gross right here, but this is Devonta Smith from week 16, 2023, the end of last year, what he was doing offensively. These are his routes. Let's take a look. 2024, Devonta Smith. This is a guy that I told you guys, don't be surprised if he leads the Eagles in targets and or receptions. I still think A.J. Brown will beat him out in yards. Like we saw, the big plays in this offense are going to go through A.J. Brown. It happened in week 1 on Friday, but Devonta Smith is the perfect wide receiver 2 for this Kellen Moore offense. A guy he could use all across the field. He definitely did. Devonta Smith running routes all across. I mean, look at this route tree. Compare that to what was going on last year. I mean, this is bland, and this is the same route over and over again. Just an out route, little out route comeback. I don't know exactly what you would call this play. This was probably a broken play. And then Oh, the one touchdown pass was when the Eagles didn't do something like that. Versus here, we got seam routes, we got, you know, a little up and outs, drag routes, slant routes, wheel routes, a little version of kind of it looks like maybe an option post. I'd have to see the exact play, but the point being, Devonta Smith is doing more in this Eagles offense. The Eagles themselves are doing more in this offense. And then, you know, I don't have a graph for it, but Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, guys, this guy is going to be one of those pieces that just revolutionizes an offense. And I've said this time and time again, the running back position has become too undervalued. The fact you can get a weapon like Saquon Barkley for $13 million a year, while the 49ers had to go pay Brandon Ayuk $30 million a year, and you look at their production on a week-to-week basis, it's insane. The running back position has become vastly undervalued, especially when you are a good football team. To be able to have a balanced offense, to win playoff games in January, you have to be able to sustain drives. You have to be able to run the ball. Look at the Niners with McCaffrey last year. Why were they able to get to the Super Bowl? They're able to sustain drives with a Christian McCaffrey. The Detroit Lions, why were they the team they played in the NFC Championship? Because with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, they can sustain drives. The Philadelphia Eagles now with Saquon Barkley can sustain drives. He is so big for this team, and let alone just having a good running game in general. Saquon Barkley's a 3-down back. This guy can give you everything that Christian McCaffrey can in a receiving game. Saquon Barkley, that wheel route touchdown. Beautiful. Beautiful. When was the last time you saw an Eagles running back make a play like that? I don't even know if I would say LeSean McCoy. Saquon Barkley is a one-of-one talent, and we could be talking offensive player of the year, and by the end of this season, you know, I hope McCaffrey's healthy, but Saquon Barkley may earn the title of best running back in football. Now that he's gone from the Giants, an absolute joke of a franchise and an absolute joke of an offensive line, to the Philadelphia Eagles, who, yeah, we lost Kelsey, but it's still a top 10 offensive line unit in the NFL. I don't think anybody's disputing that. You saw some of those holes open up for him, and Saquon makes a shifty move, gets in the end zone. There's going to be a lot more multi-touchdown games in the future of Saquon Barkley wearing an Eagles jersey. I said this to one of my buddies, and maybe it's an overreaction to week one. Maybe I'm just hyped because we have Saquon. Could you blame me? But LaDainian Tomlinson's touchdown record, you might want to keep an eye on that. I'm just going to leave it at that. You might want to keep an eye on that. But y'all, that is why I believe the Philadelphia Eagles will have a top 5 offense in the NFL in 2024. This top 5 offense will lead them to being legit Super Bowl contenders, and we'll see what happens in January. But if you love the Philadelphia Eagles, make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel. I'm going to be coming at you guys with 4 to 5 videos a week, talking birds, reactions to games, previews to games, videos like this, just breaking down some more advanced numbers, you know, talking about exactly what we're seeing on the football field. If you love the Eagles and you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go Birds, hit the like button. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.